You're listening to an Airwave Media Podcast.
Hello, and thanks for joining Revolution 250, where we look at events that took place 250 years ago this week. This is from the American Revolution Podcast, just a short bonus episode to remind you about important anniversaries from the Revolutionary War. This week, we remember the effort to get Canada to join the fight for liberty. When the Second Continental Congress met in May 1775, 13 colonies sent delegates. Now, this was an improvement over the First Continental Congress, which only got representatives from 12 colonies. Georgia never attended. This time, Georgia did, but Congress also wanted a 14th colony, that of Quebec. The First Continental Congress had sent a letter the previous year. That appeal noted not only were the people of Quebec denied their fundamental rights, but that the Parliament was now trying to retract those rights from the other colonies. The right to representative government, no taxation without representation, trial by jury, habeas corpus, freedom of the press, and land ownership without feudal obligations were all fundamental rights that the people of Quebec deserved and were being denied. It called on Quebec to form its own provincial congress and to send delegates to the Second Continental Congress. When that did not happen, Congress made a second appeal. On May 29, 1775, Congress approved a public appeal to Quebec to become the 14th colony to join the Congress. New York delegate John Jay wrote an appeal to the people of Quebec. Quote, "Alarmed by the designs of an arbitrary ministry to extirpate the rights and liberties of all America, a sense of common danger conspired with the dictates of humanity in urging us to call your attention by our late address to this very important object. Since the conclusion of the late war, we have been happy in considering you as fellow subjects, and from the commencement of the present plan for subjugating the continent, we have viewed you as fellow sufferers with us. As we were both entitled by the bounty of an indulgent Creator to freedom, and being both devoted by the cruel edicts of a despotic administration to common ruin, we perceive the fate of the Protestant and Catholic colonies to be strongly linked together, and therefore invited you to join with us in resolving to be free, and in rejecting with disdain the fetters of slavery, however artfully polished. We most sincerely condole with you on the arrival of that day in the course of which the sun could not shine on a single freeman in all your extensive dominion. Be assured that your unmerited degradation has engaged the most unfeigned pity of your sister colonies, and we flatter ourselves you will not, by tamely bearing the yoke, suffer that pity to be supplanted by contempt. When hearty attempts are made to deprive men of rights bestowed by the Almighty, when avenues are cut through the most solemn compacts for the admission of despotism, when the plighted faith of government ceases to give security to loyal and dutiful subjects, and when the insidious stratagems and maneuvers of peace become more terrible than the sanguinary operations of war, it is high time for them to assert those rights, and with honest indignation oppose the torrent of oppression rushing in upon them. By the introduction of your present form of government, or rather, present form of tyranny, you and your wives and your children are made slaves. You have nothing that you can call your own, and all the fruits of your labor and industry may be taken from you whenever an avaricious governor or a rapacious council may incline to demand them. You are liable by their edicts to be transported into foreign countries to fight battles in which you have no interest, and to spill your blood in conflicts from which neither honor nor emolument can be derived. Nay, the enjoyment of your very religion on the present system depends on a legislature which you have no share, and over which you have no control, and your priests are exposed to expulsion, banishment, and ruin whenever their wealth and possessions furnish sufficient temptation. They cannot be sure that a virtuous prince will always fill the throne, and should a wicked or a careless king concur with a wicked ministry in extracting the treasure and strength of your country, it's impossible to conceive to what variety and to what extremes of wretchedness you may, under the present establishment, be reduced. We are informed you have already been called upon to waste your lives in a contest with us. Should you, by complying in this instance, assent to your new establishment and a war break out with France, your wealth and your sons may be sent to perish in expeditions against their islands in the West Indies. It cannot be presumed that these considerations will have no weight with you, or that you are so lost to all sense of honor. We can never believe that the present race of Canadians are so degenerated as to possess neither the spirit, the gallantry, nor the courage of their ancestors. You certainly will not permit the infamy and disgrace of such pusillanimity to rest on your own heads, and the consequences of it on your children forever. We, for our parts, are determined to live free, or not at all, and are resolved that posterity shall never reproach us for having brought slaves into the world. Permit us again to repeat that we are your friends, not your enemies, and be not imposed upon by those who may endeavor to create animosities. The taking the fort, the military stores at Ticonderoga and Crown Point, and the armed vessels on the lake was dictated by the great law of self-preservation. They were intended to annoy us and to cut off that friendly intercourse and communication which has hitherto subsisted between you and us. We hope it has given you no uneasiness, and you may rely on our assurances that these colonies will pursue no measures whatever but such as friendship and a regard for our mutual safety and interest may suggest. As our concern for your welfare entitles us to your friendship, we presume that you will not, by doing us injury, reduce us to the disgraceful necessity of treating you as enemies. We yet entertain hopes of your uniting with us in the defense of our common liberty, and there is yet reason to believe that we should join in imploring the attention of our sovereign to the unmerited and unparalleled oppressions of his American subjects. He will at length be undeceived and forbid a licentious ministry any longer to riot in the ruins of the rights of mankind. Congress ordered 1,000 copies of this translated into French and dispersed among the inhabitants of Quebec. Quebec never did join the Congress, but the Americans did in fact invade Quebec a few months later in an attempt to bring that province into the rebellion. That attempt, of course, failed, and Canada remains today separate from the rest of the United States. I hope you've enjoyed this Revolution 250 moment. To learn more about this topic, please subscribe for free on your favorite platform to the American Revolution podcast.